Empress Caiatl versus Marasov. For being a Destiny community, rarely if at all do I hear anyone talking about Marasov or Empress Caiatl. So who wins between these two? Let's find out. I'll start with Caiatl because she's easier to scale between the two. In every conflict you had with Calus, Empress Caiatl was there to support you against Calus. In Season of Haunted, she was there to help you. In the Lightfall battle, she was there to help you. And then in the Lightfall battle, she took a Psychic Blast from Calus and then held him off for a minute. If you use Caiatl from Season of the Haunted and Lightfall, you can see that even up to now in the story Season of the Wish, Caiatl should be dead equal to the main character, if not slightly above them in striking power. Not many people know about Caiatl's sheer military genius, so let me explain it. In war, Xivu Wrath becomes much more powerful than you because you're directly challenging her. Caiatl did just that. She was calm and focused the entire time and knew how to take on Xivu Wrath despite being outclassed in every way. This made Marasov recognize her as a rival. Let's distinguish Marasov from Empress Caiatl. Empress Caiatl is a sound, strategic military genius who deals in absolutes with no risk to her army. Marasov is the opposite. She is a diabolical genius of the highest regard possible with a very powerful and ambitious cunning. However, her plans invite risk with the reward she can gain with her strategies. We'll use Savathun as a direct bar in this case because these two had a different approach to dealing with Savathun. We'll start with Caiatl. Caiatl came up with a plan and made someone tell Zavala about it. Her strategy was to nuke the entire Dreaming City, taking out the entirety of the Awoken along with Savathun in return for the death of Osiris and the death of all the Awoken. That obviously did not happen as Zavala said no to Empress Caiatl's offer, despite the soundness of the strategy, and she could have prevented Witch Queen from happening to begin with. However, unlike Empress Caiatl, Marasov was the one to put down Savathun. Her strategy was very direct but risk-oriented. Savathun would be contained in the Dreaming City inside of a crystal she created. This would separate her from her worm and would keep her immobile. What would happen is, at the time of the ritual, she would have a knife on her, but she had to be just perfect. Osiris had to be separated from her. She had to catch Savathun within the crystal right before she teleported. What she didn't realize was she stabbed Savathun, but she was mad that she didn't die on the spot. You might be confused on why this is a feat for someone like Marasov's diabolical nature, so I'll play a cutscene that explains how smart Savathun is.
Incredible that I could forget something like that, isn't it? Such a storied life, erased. The light offers us a fresh start, but if we don't know where we came from, how will we know where to go? I'm so grateful to you for reminding me, for telling my story.
Wait. What is she talking about?
She remembers. We helped her remember.
Thanks for the memories, Guardian.
We have to leave.
To break it down, Savathun got her memories back without anyone realizing what her plan was, and this same Savathun was understood by a core array going into Witch Queen, and this same Savathun prior to Witch Queen ran rounds on the entire cast in order to misdirect them from her, with no one to suspect who she really was at all. They just thought she was Osiris. To be the death of Savathun means Marasov has a very lethal form of cunning. The only real comparison I have for someone like Mara is God of Stories Loki, where the amount of intelligence he has going into the fight is the difference between him one-shotting someone who's an universal difference above him and losing to them 5 seconds into the fight. As for scaling, we do have a feat from Marasov, and it is very impressive. I'm talking one of the best feats for her tier. In Season of the Seraph, Marasov threw down against Xivu Arath inside her throne world, so Xivu Arath was at full power. They tied. Now, this was a Xivu Arath before she got much more powerful in Season of the Deep and Season of the Witch, so still impressive, but she's around Callus and Lightfall. Okay, so I'm going to go off the cuff on this completely. This fight is messy as fuck. It is really close between the two, not going to lie. It mostly comes down to a very simple answer, and I'll explain what it is when I get there. First, let's compare the two. Caiatl is physically stronger than Marasov. She invites no risk when she plans out her strategies, and she's abnormally intelligent in the way of battle, even against someone like Xivu Arath. Mara is the complete opposite of Caiatl in this case. While her strategies can yield far greater reward, her plans can come with far greater risk. She's a snake wearing awoken flesh. She can completely and utterly obliterate her enemy within 5 seconds, but it comes at the risk that if she executes it poorly, she can and will die. The risk in this specific fight is because she's close enough to Caiatl in intelligence, Caiatl is smart enough to make her come close so she can grab her and break her back, effectively letting her win the fight. So Mara knows in this case that if she's going to duel Caiatl, she has to duel her at longer ranges, even though she can sustain an assault against her, but that would only be if she's off guard and weakened, or in some way, shape, or form, not a danger to her in that moment. We'll leave out their armies because it'd fudge up the results, so we'll just have to talk about powers. In terms of hacks, Marasov completely takes it. With the exception of maybe the main character in The Witness, no one inverse knows how awoken magic works in thorough detail like they do, so it's very hard to understand the mechanics of the magic and come up with a fundamental counter to the magic in the same way Callus came up with light suppression tech. This being said, Marasov can teleport herself between the physical universe and the ascendant plane using the ley lines, and she can do it at the snap of a finger. Although Empress Caiatl won't be able to deduce how the teleportation works, she should be able to find patterns in how Marasov uses it to attack her, so I don't think it'd help her kill Caiatl so much as I think it would help her remain safe against Caiatl. For Mara's weaponry, she too should also have something like the Wish Ender. Shajur Ido is not the only person who served by Marasov's side, and she's not the only awoken with a form of weaponry meant to take on Aramkara. So therefore, Marasov should have something on par with Wish Ender, or she has another Wish Ender. This means that she can break through Caiatl's shield and snap her neck and or destroy her heart with one arrow. The only cost to it is Wish Ender takes 4/5 of a second to charge, in their perspective, so it would take a very long time for someone like Caiatl to actually be in danger from the arrow before it's fully nooked and ready to be fired. Caiatl's not exactly lacking either. Remember, she warred against Xivu Arath and had no problem doing so for a prolonged period of time just to give the last city time to do their thing with Savathun within the same season. So, she's very comfortable dealing with enemies who can destroy her in a couple attacks. Between being able to 1 or 2 shot Marasov using her hammer via a hit to the spine or a hit to the skull, Dead Messenger allowing her to destroy the environment in some way, allowing her to stop Mara from charging Wish Ender, and then having her shield allowing her to block everything else, she's going to be a very hard enemy to beat in battle. So who do I think wins? This comes back to what I said a few minutes ago, when I said there's a simple answer. So let me explain it. one or two things is going to happen between the two. One of them off guards the other and one-shots them by an attack to the skull, thereby minimizing damage to themselves. Or B, one of them gets the win based off distance. The reason why I base the win off distance is because both can one-shot each other. The problem is Marisov can go to the Ascendant Plane, but Caiatl can still track her down despite the fact that she's not in the physical universe. So she can't just stay away from Caiatl by going in the Ascendant Plane and charging a Wish Ender shot. By that same instance, however, all she has to do is blind Caiatl with some magic, go into hiding, charge a BFR spell, and just send Caiatl to the Ascendant Plane. The only thing is, Caiatl can react viciously using Dead Messenger, throw her shield or throw her hammer, and then try to snap Marisov's neck before she can land magic or charge magic or think about charging magic. So in reality, they're dead equal. Anyhow, that's just my take. Sometimes versus battles can come down to interpretation if both sides are dead equal, in some cases causing a debate to happen on who would win. My name is Nothing Important here. If you would like to see more stuff like this, please like, share, and subscribe. Share on Reddit because we got to piss off Reddit. Maybe share on Quora because Quora pissed off Lumos. And, that'd be lit. We hit 1.9k subs. That is amazing. Y'all are the best. We wouldn't get here without any of you subscribing. And that's all I really had to say. Have a good one, fellas.